Wide receiver wise, man, again, continuing to give the ball out there to our wide receivers, whether it's Xavier Restrepo, whether it's Rambo, whether it is Harley, whether it's Will Mallory, Elijah Arroyo at the tight end position. We are starting to get the ball to our wide receivers in open space, and also checking that thing down. Just hey, letting it fly. And sometimes we've been lucky enough to get some PIs, and in other instances, we've been lucky enough to just get a nice one-on-one reception for Miami. Now, you don't want to live on a season of luck. There are going to be times where when you lob that up, it is going to turn into an interception. It's going to turn into a pop pass in the air, and DB on a tip drill. But for the most part, it's been working out well the last couple of weeks. Defensively, on the defensive line, things looked a lot better. I don't know if there's been a change in perception. I don't know if there's been a change in scheme, but for the most part, we kind of got out of the 4-2-5, and we've been sitting in a 43, where our striker has kind of been splitting the difference between the tackle and the nearest threat, as opposed to them just lining up in front of the threat. What I mean by that is, instead of them addressing the slot as far as lining up like a nickel roll, they've been going as more of a strong side backer, where you're standing in between the offensive tackle and the tight end, or in between the offensive tackle and the slot. So what that does is it allows you to be able to cover both without being out of position. Okay, so if I'm addressing the slot, but they end up giving a route to the tight end, I'm a couple yards away from them, and they have the advantage over me and the leverage over me. But if I'm splitting the difference between the two, I'm able to cover either way and get the ball, get to the ball carrier of either one of those two. So that's just kind of a simplistic view of what's happening schematically at the strong side linebackers, which is what we call our striker. Defensive back wise, unfortunately, we lost Bubba Bolden for the rest of the season with another shoulder injury. I don't know what's going on with our players and shoulder injuries, but I bet it'll probably be addressed with our strength and conditioning staff, because a lot of people don't know this, but they're the first people to get a whole bunch of flack when players get hurt, especially when it's a recurring injury. You go back to Scott Cochran at Alabama. The last couple of years when he was there, they were having a bunch of ACL and knee injuries. And the very next season, he left to go to Georgia because Nick Saban was not happy in whatever was happening with his players as far as what they were doing in the weight room and injury being related. We also had Cam Kitchens with the almost game sealing, even though when we stopped them from getting that fourth, we went 3 and out. But anyway, it was a 4th and 8. They threw a deep out to the number 5, their player that was making all the plays this past Saturday. Okay, and Cam Kitchens, a true 18-year-old freshman, comes flying down from deep third and tackles him in open space. The sideline erupts. Coach Manny Diaz goes crazy. It was a big turnover on downs for Miami, and in my opinion, was the play of the game. It was great to see that this young man whose hometown, he's from Miami, Florida, went to Miami Northwestern and earns a scholarship to the University of Miami and makes a big play at home. That was a great one-on-one open field tackle for him. James Williams has arguably been one of the best players on defense, and he plays defense. He don't play safety, he don't play corner, he don't play linebacker. He's had snaps almost all over the field, rushing the passer, playing some middle backer, playing some one high, playing some deep third, some alley flat. So he's been kind of all over the football field for us defensively this season. We also saw a couple of Avante Williams out there on the football field. I don't know if he made a tackle or not, but he was on the field and he affected the game, his speed. Because if you watch that play, when Cam Kitchens comes flying down and makes the open field tackle, 2 steps behind him was Avante Williams. And you all know that there was a lot of talk about Avante Williams here on this channel and on a lot of channels when that situation that he was falsely accused of was talked about, and things about being dismissed and all that type of stuff. That stuff is behind him, and now he's on the football field handling business as an athlete for the University of Miami. So we still have some issues, Mark. One of the issues that we did see was cornerback is still lacking for Miami. Now, NC State's receiving core is not bad by any means, but at the same time, they continue to get behind our cornerbacks It was a couple of big plays that were given up by um, Clark and Couch and Harold. It was they were kind of going in on our cornerbacks, and it's usually the second corner. Our number one corner and Tyreek Stevenson, a transfer from Georgia, former safety, moved over the corner to play for Miami. Uh, he's been doing pretty well, in all honesty. So it's been the second quarter. People have attacked whoever is opposite against him. Also, linebacker has still been a little bit of an issue. Wayman Steed is doing a lot better in open field tackling and tackling, period. Also, Keontra Smith coming in number 4 for us is doing a lot better at the linebacker position also. But we still have some of the same issues with some of the older guys missing tackles. And, some people have lost some jobs, Mark, and it doesn't seem like they're going to get their jobs back. There seems to be a youth movement, which is something that I'm not really delighting in the fact. I'm not here to say, like, get that guy off the field. I hate that guy. That's not where we're going with it. But you do have to play the better player. And unfortunately, some of our older guys aren't living up to the standard anymore. And these younger guys are, which means in order to keep their job, meaning the coaches, and in order to be fair, we need to play the better players. So that's my long soliloquy of what happened against NC State. Broken position by position. Off the dome, no notes, just straight talking to you. That's what we do here. And I appreciate it. So